Welcome. Don't adjust your dial. Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right, Lo-Fi's and low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? It's Wednesday and time for that Lo-Fi global news, fresh off that press. Coming at us from Reuters World News. Hong Kong arrests 53 for plot to overthrow government in latest crackdown on dissent. Well, I guess China decided they wanted to be in the cast again after yesterday, because you know I wasn't passing up this one. Today, this morning, over 1,000 police officers in Hong Kong raided over 72 locations and arrested at least 53 people for attempting to subvert the government of Hong Kong. Authorities say this is linked back to an unofficial election the group had held to select pro-democracy candidates for future legislative elections. In other words, think of this as an unofficial primary race for one political party choosing its candidate to run for the general election. And Beijing, well, they ain't having it. We'll definitely keep you updated as we know more for sure, listeners. This story is not going quietly into the night. And we're still with you, Hong Kong. Next up, source, the Asia section of the BBC. Kim Jong-un says North Korea's economic plan failed. For the 8th time in North Korea's history, the Congress of the Workers' Party met. And at this meeting, Kim Jong-un stated that his 5-year economic plan almost completely failed to meet every goal that was set. Let me highlight you real close, Lo-Fi Nation. This is not something you see authoritarian leaders or dictatorships do often at all. However, Kim has been doing this quite a little bit for the past couple of years. A curious thing, is it not? He's getting ready to announce a new 5-year economic plan at the meeting of the Congress. And a question to you out there. What is this all about? What will Kim do differently, if anything, in this new 2021? Write in and let me hear your voice. Now, moving forward, because we never move on from anything. Source, AP News International. Wikileaks founder Assange denied bail in UK. More interesting stuff going on here. This week, the UK rejected a US call for the extradition of Assange, citing his mental health and his safety in a US prison. Then yesterday, interestingly enough, Mexico's president offers Assange political asylum, citing he needs to be protected as a journalist and a person for free speech. And Mexico is said to be beginning talks with the UK to hopefully release him to their custody. And today, Assange is denied bail while the UK court considers the US appeal to the extradition decision. So many moving parts going on with this story that has been going on for years. But it looks like this situation is fast coming to a conclusion. Or at the very least, a new chapter. We'll have to wait and see what's up. And our following story comes from the world of Reuters. Myanmar police arrest nearly 100 Rohingya in raid on house. It's been over 3 years since the Rohingya of the Rakhine state of Myanmar were forced from their homes by the hundreds of thousands. Forced to flee to Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, and so many other places. Persecuted by the military of Myanmar. But too often do we not think of the hundreds of thousands of Rohingya still in Myanmar, and the trials and tribulations they are still going through. In Myanmar, the Rohingya population are not allowed free travel through the country. They are, generally speaking, forced to stay in the Rakhine state. These 100 people were found outside of that state and arrested, and the authorities, they're not saying why, but rather that the investigation is ongoing. We're watching this story develop closely, Lo-Fi Nation, because the reality is, this isn't a story at all. This is people's lives we're talking about. Keep your eyes open and ears to the ground, and let me know if you hear something first. And a last piece of news to send you on your way for the day, an update to yesterday's story on TalkRadio and YouTube. Source, the tech section of the BBC. TalkRadio, YouTube reverses decision to ban channel. Alright, this happened not long after we covered the story yesterday about the London-based radio broadcaster's YouTube channel being shut down for breaking community guidelines. Now, we have the full story. It appears that YouTube had shut them down for spreading false information about the 19. However, after a more in-depth review process, YouTube announced that some of the infractions were protected under what we're going to call public interest stories. But the videos still remain flagged. But TalkRadio is back up and running on YouTube. What an interesting time we live in, don't you think? Write into me, Lo-Fi Nation. Is the spreading of false information protected by such things as freedom of speech? Do people really have the right to say anything they want, no matter the consequences to other people? I'm curious your thoughts. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Lo-Fi Global News, because we have so much to catch up on 2021 already. We're hitting it hard all week long. Stick around for more. And always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.